Hello there, it's the Crypto Lunatic, and today I bring you a very brief update to show you why the global economy is in a lot of trouble and that there is a time bomb coming your way, and a lot of people aren't awake to it. So this is just a very brief. I just want to awaken you. I just want to poke the bear here, and I want you to explore this yourself. I want you to do your own research, and I want you to explore the nightmare that is coming our way. The nightmare, folks, the nightmare. So that's a little bit sensationalist, but it's true. It's true, folks. Today, I'm going to explain how the global economy is a Ponzi scheme and that there is a rude awakening coming all of our way somewhere down the line. And it's almost definitely going to happen within the next 10 or so years, probably sooner. Some people are predicting sooner than that. It could be sooner rather than later, but it would almost definitely happen in your lifetime. And this is why you need to be aware of it. And for me, as somebody that was late in the game of discovering how finance works, I wish I'd known this a lot earlier in my life. It wasn't until I went and worked in finance, which was about 15 years ago, that I started to awaken and discover how finance works, how banking institutions work, how governments work, and how they don't necessarily work for you. So let's start by saying that in business, if a business owes more money than it can pay off, then it will probably be bankrupted, probably be sold off as a bad investment because it's unsustainable. So, on that basis, let's look at the global economy. And this is not going to be thorough research. This is just going to be a journey via Perplexity AI. Now, I've been on various websites, the International Monetary Forum, and looked at the official sites, and it is incredible how what lengths they've gone to fudge these figures or make it unaccessible or hard to find for you. Hard to find, but in the days of AI that we're in now, it's easier for you to look things up. And I just want to show you how to start asking the right questions if you don't believe me, and to look into this for yourself. So follow me on a journey, a very brief journey of why we're in a lot of trouble indeed, my friends, a lot of trouble indeed. And beyond this, this is the case for Bitcoin. This is why people in the digital space, they're going to like Bitcoin. So anyway, follow me. So here we go. This is Perplexity AI, and you can go on there right now. And I asked a simple question: what is the global debt compared with the global gross domestic product? Which means how much do we earn in all in gross domestic product? How much do we earn in total? So here we go, folks. Now, this is just a very brief search based on AI's interpretation of this. So as you can see, in 2023, total global debt, which includes both public and private, is 250 trillion, according to the International Monetary Fund. Other sources, such as the Institute of International Finance, report that global debt is 307 trillion in 2023. Though this figure may include different components and methodologies. Now, one thing that we can be certain of, folks, is that governments fudge figures to make them look better than they actually are. That's a completely different breakdown for a different video. I just want to get the big picture across to you today. So, debt to GDP ratio. The global debt to GDP ratio stood approximately at 237% in 2023, according to the IMF. According to the IMF, folks. Now, this means that we are borrowing 233 or 37% more than we're actually earning as a global economy. Now, that statistic should frighten you. So you may be asking yourself, well, how does that work? How can we even sustain ourselves? Well, this is where government money printing comes in. And here in the UK and in the US, you get a government in for 4 years, and they're all hoping that they can print loads of money and look after themselves and feather their own nests until the music stops, and then they pass this nightmare down to the next government, who will blame the previous government for everything that's gone wrong. And this is the cycle. This is the cycle, folks. So here we go. So the ratio is slightly lower than in 2022. So COVID was a nightmare for the global economy, an absolute nightmare. So you can read through this yourself. I really don't want to. I've given you the big picture here. Total debt. The summary: global debt is approximately 2.54 times the size of the global GDP, uh, with both public and private sectors contributing significantly to the high ratio. So here's the next question. Which countries have the worst debt to GDP ratio? So here we go. Lebanon, Sudan, Japan, which is a pretty big economy, Singapore, Eritrea, Greece, and some of you will be very alarmed to see the United States on there as well. So for all the bigging it up, they're one of the worst. One of the worst. And I did ask just out of curiosity, how about the UK? Now the UK look, oh good, they're not quite as bad. It's only as much debt as we actually earn. So in the bigger picture of things, the UK is doing okay, but it's not really because we know that these figures are fudged. So let's ask this question. What is the average yearly percentage increase in debt to GDP? So here we go. Look, you can read through this yourself, my friends. These are the alarming statistics. So from 2019 to 2023, the global debt to GDP ratio went from 229% to 237%. Now, this goes on and on and on. What's the yearly increase in inflation? Now, inflation is the prices that things go up. This is you going to the shopping mall or the supermarket and realizing that your pint of milk and your loaf of bread is getting a lot more expensive. Now, I'm going to suggest that these figures are maybe not completely accurate. They're certainly out of alignment with some of the statistics I've been hearing. But here we go. The global headline inflation. Oh, it's currently declining. There you go. Good news for you. But it was 6.8% in 2023. So 5.9% in 2024 and 4.5% in 2025. Now, these are conservative statistics, but what that means that even conservatively, folks, that if you're not earning at least 4.5%, and I've heard this figure to be as high as 18%, depends who you ask. It can be as high as 18 to 20%. Some people will tell you if you're not earning 18 to 20%, you're losing spending power. Now, you only need to go back within my lifetime, about 20 or 30 years, to see the prices of houses, for example. That once upon a time they were affordable, they are now not. So your spending power has gone down. So I've asked this question. How about the inflation in regard to increases and spending power in the USA and UK? Now, again, you can read through this, folks. The bottom line is that it's expensive. It is expensive that your spending power has gone massively down. The global economy is broken, and one day it's going to pop. And this is a phenomenon called the Great Reset. When that happens, people are going to panic. You're going to wake up one day and find that your spending power is zero and your currency is worth very little, which is why a lot of investors are hedging their bets now. Some people buy gold and silver because they know that that is a solid store of value. And in the other economy, some people are looking at Bitcoin as the savior of the economy. And why do they like Bitcoin? Well, they like Bitcoin because it is a fixed supply. No one can print any more of it. And not only that, it's universal. Bitcoin is the same. It doesn't matter which country you go to. So some people even suggest the first government to start printing money to buy Bitcoin is going to win. They are going to win. And countries are slowly waking up to this, especially the USA and China, who are the biggest holders of Bitcoin at the moment, followed by the UK. And probably most of that has been stolen. It's been suspended from wallets. But anyway, this is the case, folks, and this is why the crypto geek community believe in digital assets because at some stage they believe that their currency or whatever it is that they're holding will be worth the money that they buy it with. People aren't trusting the governments and they're not trusting the money that they're holding. And this is the impending revolution, which is going to come at some time during your lifetime. And if you're not awake to this, then it's going to hit you with a lot of force by a big surprise. And this is the phenomenon that I've talked about before that people are calling the Great Reset. The Great Reset will happen when the governments start collapsing because this debt bubble, it bursts. It's unsustainable. They'll be printing money. Your money will be worth nothing. And which country is going to be turn on the money printer the most? Well, they have to keep printing to stimulate the economy. But we are living in a global Ponzi scheme, my friends, and that is why people are interested in things like crypto. So there you go, a very brief overview. I absolutely encourage you not to believe a word that I'm telling you here today. Go and look it up, do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and then you may want to sign up to the channel to get my little insights to point you in the right direction to help you to navigate the very complicated world of cryptocurrency. And if you want that, then please do sign up to the channel. And if you want another one of my little videos, you will find it just there.